What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Twisted Life of TV. I am Poetry. You are here for PNTV. Poetry's news and twisted views. I'm going to speak specifically towards the Target conversation. So everything that I am going to speak on, not everything, majority of what I'm going to speak on is based off of recollection from research that I have already previously done in regards to the Target and the boycott that ensued in 2024. I have watched a few videos this week, one being Tap That Speaks Politics. I addressed one topic that she brought up in that video about the 13% board members being minority that Jamal Bryant spoke on. I also watched Jamal Bryant's apology in regards to the backlash that's been happening for the call to end the boycott. And then also I watched another interview with the originators of the Target boycott and her fury about what's going on. And I'm just going to basically give you some opinion on it, and you put your opinions and thoughts down in the conversation. I know for a fact, but I know deep in my heart, a lot of people that view this channel who are still going to Target. You either one, did not stop, two, somewhere along the way just started going all over again, or three, rock with Jamal Bryant's assessments ended and you felt like joyous and you flooded the store as soon as you heard. Okay, that's what did they just blow their fucking horn at me, bitch? So yeah, so that's what most people are at. I think for majority of the people here on this channel that follow my content, agree with me that when we said we weren't going back, we weren't going back. It wasn't we weren't going back with exceptions or unless. It was we weren't going back, which means we were not shopping. I can hereby tell you, I did shop one time. I have to be honest, I did. I was looking for a specific item. Nobody had this particular item except for Target. And so I had did an online order because I was refusing to go to the store. And the whole process of getting that item, picking up that order from the location I went to, was such a fucking headache. All I kept saying is, this is why I shouldn't have came back in the first place. And I have not been back again. I want to say that had to be somewhere over last June, I think that happened. I don't know if I told y'all about it or not, but I'm telling you about it now. So I did go at least once. So if you want to call me a hypocrite in that sense, I will take that on the chin, you know. But overall, I'm not going back. There's no reason for me to. I've been not shopping there with the exception of that one item for over a year. So yeah, I can honestly say I did miss it though. I did miss it. I got a serious sense of peace when I was shopping in that store, as far as compared to like Walmart and shit like that. Okay. So I think I'm going to go back to the timeline the best as I can. Well, I'll start from the end and then try to work my way back. So the other day, Pastor Jamal Bryant came on TV, did a press conference from DC, stating that Target has met 3 out of the 4 of their demands. And out of those 3 of the 4 demands, he believes that gives us cause or reason to end the Target boycott. He stated, if I'm not mistaken, the Target fast. Now, for those of you who are confused, this is why Nakima is so pissed off. Nakima is the one who's over the initial Target boycott idea. She's part of the organization that originated it. This is one reason why she's so pissed off, because one, there was a national Target boycott, And then there was Jamal Bryant's Target fast. It leads to confusion that these are the same thing, which they were not. And along the way, Jamal Bryant has been a voice for boycotting Target. So it made it appear that he was the leader. There's thousands of headlines out there about the leader of boycott being the leader of the Target boycott being Jamal Bryant, and Jamal Bryant never came out. He said one time, and this is at the beginning stages of the boycott, he said one time that he wasn't the one that was in charge of it, that Nakima was. But other than that, once all the headlines and the press conferences and the podcasts that he done, he never again addressed the fact that he was not the one who was leading the national boycott. What he was leading was a Target fast. Okay, so I told y'all doing one of my videos, it was a live stream actually, and I reposted or retagged it in one of the other videos as related content. There was a boycott going on with Target that initiated from the killing of George Floyd. And it was because Target was instrumental as an organization in the state of, in the city of Minneapolis, which is where they're headquartered. They were instrumental in providing funds and money to donate to the cause to support the officers who killed George Floyd. They had campaigns in which they donated money. It was almost like when Trump was doing the it was almost like when Trump was doing the campaign against the five brothers, that he was like wanting to make sure they get prosecuted, wanting to make sure that they go down for their heads cut off, what have you. Okay, the Central Park Five. So it was similar to that in the way that Target was moving in Minneapolis. So the movement to start to boycott them sparked from that. There was a lot of conversation going on between Nakima's group and Target back and forth in regards to the George Floyd initiative. There was a lot of monies that was supposed to be donated. It was pledged. A pledge does not mean that they giving up shit. It's a promise to give it up, but it doesn't set anything in stone. Just because I pledge to give you something don't mean I got to do it. So Target did not fulfill that pledge at all, which was one of the that was in response to the George Floyd situation, which was one of the reasons why it became a point of contention. Then on top of that, they had the issue with the LGBTQ community as far as the product placement in Target. And remember, there was a boycott for them to remove that. I think the Women of Liberty are the ones who initiated that or what have you. But anyway, it became a big thing where products were being moved out of Target because they represented the LGBTQ community. Okay, so along with Nakima's organization that was fighting for George Floyd, the LGBTQ community joined forces with her, and they were boycotting Target as well. This is where the Target stock started to plunge. I remember telling you guys before that the cause of the stock decline had nothing to do with them removing the DEI. I don't know if you believe me or even if you even heard me. Okay, because I believe I was the only person that I saw on YouTube that was speaking to that fact. The stock plunge that caused the board members to go lose their freaking minds had to do with the previous boycotts that were happening in regards to the George Floyd initiatives and the LGBTQ product placement in the stores. And as a process, Target added more things on. The idea to remove the DEI program and rename it as Belonging happened before Trump issued the statement that he wanted to get rid of DEI. It just became a big thing, or Target decided to make an announcement about it to show agreement with the president in charge, or the prisoner in charge, the orange dude. Okay, so once he made the announcement, there was programs also that was slated towards black businesses and things of that nature. They decided they were going to remove those as well. I showed y'all pictures and I showed y'all dates for when those things happened. That was in the month of November and December of 2024. Way before the DEI initiative was changing. Okay, so once they made the announcement that they were going to kiss Trump's ass, they decided to make it known to the public, we're getting rid of the DEI exclusion altogether. We're going to revamp even what we had already revamped. So the Belonging program and all those things, we're going to remove a lot of things from their program that we were going to move forward with. And that became more publicly known. Okay. So after a lot of back and forth, Nakima and them added the DEI initiatives to be part of the program again, to their list of demands. And Target said, fuck you. Okay, basically, in so many words, Target said, fuck you, we not doing that. We not rolling over. Okay. And so there was a email that was leaked. I hate when people say they leak shit. An email that was leaked that stated that Nakima was going to start a Target boycott. The Target boycott was supposed to begin on February 1st. There was to be a nationwide boycott. Al Sharpton indicated on January 27th about the boycott itself. I believe I told you guys that the way that this was supposed to roll out, they were going to be monitoring certain businesses and they were going to look to see who was going to be the most effective or who they could move on to next as well, right? That was not part of Nakima's plan. And I'm just using her name, but it's an organization. That was not part of her plan. Her plan was to hit Target where it hurt, in their pockets, by removing black dollars, by removing LGBTQ dollars, by removing dollars of women. Okay, so Nakima, along with the LGBT community, along with some white women, all joined forces together to bring forth this initiative to do this nationwide boycott. Okay, so the press conference, her press release was leaked on the 24th. On the 28th of January, after all Sharpton and them came on TV, talked about the boycott, her official press release went out. She did a press conference on January 30th. The national boycott began February 1st. Now, during this time frame, during this week time frame, I do remember Tamika Mallory coming out and talking about the nationwide boycott as well. I do not remember Nina Turner because I don't follow her. And Al Sharpton decided that he and his followers were going to do, I don't know how to say it, not necessarily a boycott, a buy-in. So he took a bunch of parishioners around to a bunch of different stores like Costco and encouraged those shoppers to shop with companies and organizations who were going to support DEI. Okay? Pastor Jamal Bryant decided to do a march of his own. He led a march through Target and encouraged his parishioners and followers to buy black within Target. This was sparked on the back end of Tabitha Brown coming out with her speech about y'all gonna hurt the black businesses, y'all need to support us only. And then there was a lot of YouTubers who have since changed their mind was agreeing with her that we were hurting black businesses, and we, the people, were saying, y'all said that shit other places, we can go buy it other places. Okay. Roland Martin spoke on the fact that these black businesses were hurt and they lost some money because of the failure, or was it Roland Martin? It might have been Jamal Bryant. It was Jamal Bryant that said this in his apology video, that a lot of the black businesses were hurt and they lost a lot of income because people weren't shopping at Target. Jamal Bryant failed to mention that their revenue or their resources picked up in other platforms in which they were selling those items. So it was misleading of him to simply just say that these businesses lost money in Target without also denoting to the fact that their income, their revenue picked up or at least stayed even by people shopping in other platforms for their items, including Tabitha Brown. So, February 5th, Jamal Bryant decided that it was going to be a 40-day fast. So for Lent, they were going to fast against Target. Now, again, this causes confusion because there was already a national boycott going on. People were already supposed to be boycotting Target going on. It had already become a national movement as of February 1st, right? So for him to announce a fast he announced a fast February 5th to begin doing Lent. I believe he started it later, but I think it was supposed to begin doing Lent, and I think he started it April 1st. For him to announce that added to the confusion. Because we already doing a national boycott. But remember, I was saying, I know y'all still in Target. I still see damn halls. Remember I kept saying that? So maybe you joined on when Jamal Bryant said he was going to do the fast, whatever. And y'all didn't join on the national one. But there was people already boycotting as early as December 2024. Actually, earlier than that, because when the stock started to crash, the boycott was already going on. It became a nationwide boycott again, February 1st, where they took it out of just Minneapolis, and other organizations started picking up, and other organizations started having protests in the city that which they were located in. Now, before I forget, I watched the interview with Nakima and Roland Martin, and Nakima came in hot. And rightfully so, I believe. And the reason why I'm saying it, because she said, fuck Nina, fuck Tamika as well. Tamika and Nina both came out after Jamal Bryant said that the boycott was ending, that they weren't ending shit. They were still going to do it. And, you know, myself and a few other people was like, fuck you, dog. You know, but hey, we said we weren't going back, even though I went back there one time, Lord forgive me. But we said we weren't going back. She said, fuck them. She don't want them in the protest because they essentially hijacked the movement with their own agenda. Jamal Bryant set up his own website where he had people go register on their website. The point of the registering on the website was to learn about where you could shop black businesses. But he also had his initiative up there of what he was demanding from Target. Some of these demands were different. He had 4 demands, but they were different than the demands of what the originators had set out. 2 of them matched. 2 of them, from what the interview I heard this morning, 2 of them matched. And one was the 2.1 million or $1 billion, I can't remember which one it was, they were supposed to allocate, that they have now said again they're going to allocate it again. They're basically just going back to saying they're going to do what they said it was going to do in the first place, but the money ain't moving no fucking where yet, okay? And then he believes that the belonging program was something as a win. The belonging program always existed. The belonging program was supposed to happen before the DEI initiative got erased. A lot of the things within the belonging program, as far as where the money was going to black businesses, supporting black women, going to black HBCUs and things like that, those things have not been returned to the belonging initiative. So I don't know why Jamal Bryant thought that was a win. Basically, they just gave him what they were already going to do in the first place. He made mention about the 13% minorities. I talked about that in another video already. There's 2 black men on the board. There's 4 white women, or one maybe Latino, on the board. And that's what he considers to be the 13% minority. Yeah, okay. So, but that wasn't part of his initiative or part of his demands at all. It wasn't part of the demands on either one of those things. I learned today that one of the initiatives that was started was in regards to a 16-year-old that got wrongfully incarcerated and prosecuted with the assistance and the help and the donations and the dollars of the Target Corporation. That was part of the initiative that they needed to correct, take accountability for, which they still haven't done. They also wanted a public apology and have DEI inclusion program reinstated as it was, and Target is refusing to do that. So the originators are like, no, the boycott is not over. She was pissed, and I don't think Roland Martin heard her, simply because of the fact that Roland Martin was one of the people that was telling us that we were stupid because we wasn't supporting the black businesses within Target. It was stupid to do this boycott. He was one of those people that initially said that. Like I said, some of his tune changed a little bit through the process, but he supported Jamal, he supports Tamika, he supports Nina, he supports Tabitha, things like that. So his stance was, and Roland has a way of talking over you to try to get his point across. He met his match with Kamika. Did I say her name wrong this time? He met his match with baby girl, okay? Because she was not letting him talk over, but you could see her anger was really coming out in her tones. So I don't think that Roland Martin wanted to hear her anyway. Her point was, because he was like, well, if other people around the nation, this was a nationwide event, then you could, I don't know why you don't want them to do what they got to do nationwide. He missed her whole point when she said it over and over again. Other people in the nation who decided to join forces with us, and they were having their own little protest, and they were probably even having meetings and conversations with Target. They were not stepping on the initial reasons or purpose. They were not speaking in behalf of her organization and her movement. They were not saying that they were the ones, the leaders to contact in regards to this movement. That's why she feels it's acceptable that they can still protest. But the reason why she does not want Tamika Mallory, she does not want Nina Turner, she does not want Jamal Bryant opening their fucking mouths and saying anything in regards to the Target boycott, because they've essentially tried to make this movement their own and to their benefit. I found that with a lot of the Black Lives Matter organizers, that was a thing. I told you, if you've been on this channel for a long time, you've heard me talk about it before. That was one of the issues that I had with the movement. Can we not go to the right? Fuck, I can't get home. Okay, how do I get home otherwise? How do I get home? I can't go to the right. I can have to go to the left. That's going to take me into what community? It's going to take me that way. That's fine. Okay, I know. We're going for a ride. We're going for a ride. So, yeah, she felt like they hijacked the movement for them to come out and do. And the reason why she's so pissed with Nina and Tamika, even though they said they're not stopping the boycott, is because, one, they actually went to D.C. with Jamal Bryant, knowing that Jamal Bryant was going to call for an end to the boycott. They still went there with him and stood side by side, and then came out after the fact that says, no, we're not stopping it. But if anything, they should have checked him on the spot if that's not what they agreed to. They should not have, if he hadn't discussed it with them, that's what he was about to say, they should have said, no, it's not ending. What are you talking about? Just how he publicly announced it, they should have checked it on the spot, but they did not, is my issue. Her issue feels she already said that they were not credible. So apparently in April of 2025, I ain't going that way. I don't know what the hell is going on with traffic that way. I'm going to go this way. And in April of 2025, they sat down with Tarjay. Everybody. The originators, the newbies, they all sat down, and they had a conversation with Tarjay, and from that conversation, shit didn't go right. It wasn't going the way that she expected it to. They were still going to deny the DEI inclusion, DEI equity inclusion. The I stands for inclusion. The DEI programs. And she was like, she didn't feel that these people were credible or of good faith. So at that time in April, she decided not to work with them. She had a conversation with Roland Martin about that and told Roland Martin at that time, April 2025, that she was not dealing with them. She was not fucking with them. She didn't like them. And she think that they are hindering the movement. Again, they had their own agenda. She told them that in April 2025. But after that meeting, Jamal Bryant decided that he was going to continue his 40-day fast of Target. And he did a video on April 27th. I remember the exact date. He did a video April 27th that says, we are not going back. And that Target needs to understand that. He wasn't calling it a fast all along then. He was calling it a boycott then too. And so he became the face, the one who was, because he was talking the loudest, you know. He was talking the loudest. And that's usually who gets the most shine, is whoever speaks up the loudest, even if they're wrong. Okay. So since, and they're people are asking why is Nikema so upset about it? Because again, it sows confusion. It sows absolute confusion into the fact, what street am I on? I don't know where I'm at, child. It shows confusion to different movements. Of course, there was boycotts going on all over the United States, sparked by the Montgomery boycott. But not one, and when there was somebody that stepped out and tried to do something outside of what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had going on, it sowed confusion. people didn't know who to fuck with, who to rock with. Where am I going? Oh, okay, I'm in the right spot now. All right. Oh, okay. All right. I know where I'm in. So, Jamal Bryant came out and did his apology video. In the apology video, I was like, I call bullshit. He admitted that he was not the originator. He claimed that he wanted to do nothing but support black women. And I knew that he was still full of shit because he kept including Tamika and Nina in the conversation as the originators. Again, Tamika was one of the first people I heard speak on it, but I knew that they weren't the originators because I had already talked about it before. But he kept on trying to include them in the conversation as being the originators of who he's standing with. He always got Nakima's name wrong. He kept saying her name wrong at the end. Hell, I might be saying it wrong right now too. But when you're sitting down to do a structured, organized press conference, you should know the names of the people you're speaking about, right? Okay. That's my point. Regardless if I'm saying it wrong right now or not. So, in his apology, I still do not recall him saying at all that he was wrong and out of place to call an end to the boycott. He didn't say that at all. He did talk about all the different things that he has accomplished and achieved in his fast, his Target fast. And once he started doing that, that's why I was like, this is not a sincere apology. And Nakima felt the same fucking way. She's like, that wasn't sincere. That was just theatrics. That was for show. But he's already caused damage. He wanted to make sure that you guys know he did not get paid off. He didn't earn anything monetary wise in regards to the boycotts and the call and the end of it. He figured he was just, ready to lay down their sword and shit. He was tired of fighting them because they gave us 3 out of them. They gave us 3 out of the 4. They gave who 3 out of the 4? Because the purpose of the boycott itself was not equating to what you were asking them, Target. So if you wanted to end your fast, then that's what you should have said. I know I said that I'm not going back. I know I said this, but I want to go back. But why though? I still don't understand why. I don't understand why you had to, why you felt the need to go back. Was it something that they were doing differently? Something that they added, some policy they changed to for the betterment of the cause? I didn't see none of that says, oh, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. Once I made that one-time purchase, I made up in my mind that if I can't get it nowhere else, and that's the only place I gotta get it from, then I don't need it. I realized the error in my ways. And I don't need it at all. They're my neighbor dog. So the national boycott is still ongoing. It did not end. And I believe Jamal Bryant, his interview was done from his podcast. He did not go back to DC and call a national press conference in which he was to speak. So if you didn't watch his podcast or you didn't hear from people like me, you would never know that this apology so-called happened. I can see why the originators are still pissed. And it may seem like she's calling for divisions, but it's like I would say too that all skin folk ain't kin folk. And everybody always has something to gain that may not be what you want out of the process. I felt the same way with politics. I feel like it's something I'm missing about the whole thing too. I feel like it's something I'm missing. Yeah, I don't know when Jamal Bryant got the word that two of his criteria was met. When I know that when I started looking into the Target boycotts, that I believe, I want to say began like April of 2024, and they were long going, that those initiatives were already on their board. What are you talking about? And when he said that we now have 13% minority board members in Target, those board members were fucking there already. The two new ones was added on March 1st and about to come up April 1st, and they both white men. What are you talking about? We now have. No, we don't have anything. What are you talking about? We don't have the policy. We don't have the original DEI program in place. And even if they gave it back, I most likely would still not be going back. Because again, I've been without them this long. What for? If they put those programs back in place, kudos. They should be there any fucking way. That's the thing. That's like rewarding a parent for raising their children. That's what the fuck you're supposed to do. That's how I equate it. You know, I know it's not the same, but that's how I equate it. So anywho, child, like I said in my little short clip, for me and mine, we're not going back. June 1st, or not June 1st, but it was June of 2025, when I made the grave error and ordered from their online store. And I have not been back since. I don't even look at their site. I removed all the apps from my phone, because the app used to be on my phone. And you could talk about something and then like an ad would pop up. Yeah. So I removed all the apps from my phone. Hell, I remember when I made that order back in June of last year, they didn't even have me in the system no more, because it had been so long since I've been in the program. I think the red card program or something like that. So yeah, I had some gift cards from Christmas that people had gave me from the Target stores. I have found homeless people on the street, and I gave it to them. I know that was still allowing somebody to shop with them or from them, but I figure it was better for me to give those away than for me to actually utilize them. Because if I hold them for so long, I'm going to want to use them. I already know. Like money burning a hole in the pocket. I really need to get my hair and do my yard. All my plants have died. Had that little cold freeze, and I thought that they was going to snap back, but these bitches are not snapping back at all. They're like dead. Anywho, child. Yeah. I'm not shopping Target. I hate that there's so much public division being shown right now, but it had to be said. It had to be said. And I do believe that Jamal Bryant's apology video was patronizing. I do believe that as well. And I was like cool with Tamika saying, I'm not going to do it. Like I said, I never really supported Nina, so I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about. But I heard she said that she wasn't going to go back either. And then, but once I sit here and I look at all the factors, and I also hear Nakima's point of view about how that has hurt the process altogether, from the time of the April 27th meeting with Target, and now, how they were not adding to the movement itself, but they were trying to create their own, but still calling it the same thing, how that causes confusion. Yeah, child, let me know what y'all thoughts are down in the comment section. I feel like it's something I'm missing, that's why I'm pausing. But I need to go in the house because I use the bathroom. Talk to y'all again in another video. Peace.